Hey Patriots, welcome back to Dee's Daily Breakdown. This is episode number 68. It is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026, and let's get into it. So it's been a little hot minute since I've had a podcast. I worked really hard to, do my interview with Patrick Gunnels, and speaking of that, I just want to give a great big shout out to Patrick. Thank you so much, and I was so impressed with his background and his knowledge of his products and how he started his company from scratch. Incredible story. And I'm always about supporting a great patriot like Patrick, especially, and on top of that, he's an anon as well. So if you want to check out Patrick's store, feel free to click on the link in my description. All right, so again, it's been a little while, so I want to get into what I've noticed on comments across Facebook and Instagram. And a very common one is people are getting tired. Okay, they're getting weary. They're sick of this movie. They want to know when the movie is going to end. Okay. Let me say this. This has been an unseen war, right? We're going to talk again about the word war. The definition of a war includes being very uncomfortable, people dying, people getting very, severely injured. This has been a psychological war. So a lot of this has been a mind war, okay? And I hear you. I hear that you're weary. And maybe it's because I'm made of some other kind of skin. But I don't know, because my life hasn't been the easiest. But again, whose life really has? If you've lived on this planet a certain length of time, you're going to face challenges. So I really, really have to let you know that I really, really don't have patience for you if you are complaining. The way I look at it is it comes across to me very weak, okay, wimpy-like, and I don't do well with people who are weak-minded and weak and wimpy. My take is, and I've said this before, but I think it's important to say it again, Americans have been extremely spoiled, the average American. All right. And you can hem and haw all you want and get triggered by the truth. But that really is the truth. You can't deny that Americans have had it really well for a very long time. Even those who are on the poor end of things, compared to the poorest people across third world countries, you can't compare the worst poor people in America. There is no comparison. I don't care what you try to throw at me. And this boo-hoo, woo-woo, when is it going to end? I'm so tired. What would have happened if our soldiers in the middle of a battle in World War II, in Vietnam, Korean War, World War One, just decided in the middle of the fight, oh, I'm tired, I'm worn. Now, granted, maybe you've never served in the military. I've never served in the military, but I really think this parallels what we are experiencing here. Spoiled brat Americans. That's it. And I've grown up in America too. Okay, but here's the thing: if you have running water, if you have food on your table, you have clothes to wear, and you have a roof over your head, then you need to be quiet. Just be quiet. Okay. Because as we know, there are plenty of parts in the world here where people don't have clean water to drink. They don't have food on their table. They hardly have any clothes to wear. They don't have a roof over their head. They're living in streets, or they're living in little huts, okay? So that doesn't fly over here on my neck of the woods, and it won't ever, all right? Because I'm always going to toe the line and tell it straight. So we're going to go back again to square one. I'm going to talk about how this has been about the children. Okay, what these evil satanic pedophiles have done to our babies, okay, from infants all the way through childhood, what they have done to our children, murdered, raped, scared them to no end and drank their blood. I mean, I know I'm being very graphic, but we know that that's what's been going on. Once you keep that locked in your mind and in your heart, and obviously a lot of people are not, they're being selfish. Okay, you're just being selfish, because once you lock that in, then you should never say one complaining thing about what's going on with this military operation. Okay, if anybody should be complaining, it would be President Trump, who's been pummeled to the max. And he's been willing to put his whole life on the line for our country, all right? And he's willing to take all of these hits. But in the end, he will be vindicated. Now, they want people arguing and they want people getting louder. They want people, this is the point of this is called amplified messaging, because we are dealing with mind issues. And this is what fifth generation warfare is all about. The battlefields of your mind. Okay. So in order to shake everybody up, they've had to hit them with their wallets hard. But really, you know what? High gas prices to me is not hard. Maybe I don't know. I'm just an average American. I'm not a millionaire by any stretch of the imagination. I see how hard it can be at the gas pump, but you're going to complain about gas. I'm not hearing you. You're not out in the streets where you're concerned about, like, you have no place to live because a bomb just dropped on your home. Okay, that would be a problem. That would be a problem. But up until this point, has America gone through any of that? Nope. Okay. So obviously our special forces and President Trump are doing a great job because none of that is happening here on our land. We did have 9/11. Okay, that was absolutely beyond horrific. But what President Trump is doing with our military is they're gradually easing the public into the knowledge that the Mossad, which is the Israeli government, was behind 9/11 and behind these world wars, okay? And this has really been a centuries-long battle. It's finally getting taken down. And really, do you really think that a battle like this is going to get taken down in a year? Really? In 2 years? Really? You really think that then you don't understand the magnitude of this sting operation. And you know what? I don't have to be in the military to understand logic, common sense, facts. Like if it's a military operation and it's the biggest one in world's history, it's going to take years to take down the global deep state. Not a few months, not a few years. It's going to take years and years. And the pacing, as hard as it is for many people, it has to be done this way. They have to ease the public in because there's so much evil that's going to have to get exposed. They could not just drop it all at one shot, because people would go into a state of shock and they would lose it, like to the points. They're already going to lose it. I believe that when a lot of it, a bulk of it will come out, but they're trying to ease the population. They're working to ease the population in for the big stuff. So again, I'm not good with your complaining. You can take it somewhere else. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to announce that you're leaving me. And you don't have to tell me how I should behave and what I should say and what I shouldn't say, because this is my podcast. Those are my profiles that I've worked very hard on Instagram and Facebook and Rumble and YouTube. I'm working very hard across platforms and to get the truth out. And if truth triggers you, that's your issue. But you don't need to be making your dumb comments on anywhere near me. Just move it along, okay? Because I'm not going to change who I am, and I'm not going to change telling you the truth, period. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I won't ever be everybody's cup of tea, and I'm okay with that. Because at the end of the day, again, I can put my head on the pillow at night and know that I did everything I could to get the truth out to the public. Now it's your responsibility to do your research and do your learning behind the scenes. Literally take nothing, and I do mean nothing, as surface value when it comes to President Trump and this military operation. Nothing is as it seems. Literally nothing is as it seems. It's not. And I really do take offense to people who say, how do you know all this? Oh, you think you know it all. No, I don't. But I've worked really hard. I've done a lot of research over the years, and I know what I'm telling you are the actual facts. Another annoying thing is when people ask me for proof. Okay, that's on you. Okay? I do my best to show visuals when I can. I point you to directions to learn more. But this is not something that you're going to learn in a night. Okay? It's not something that you're going to learn in 2 sentences in comments on a reel. Right? I point you to my king. He's an historian for over 30 years. He's written, I believe now it's 36 books. He just came out with another one. He tells you the real history, and he knows the Q operation. I tell you all the time, it's real news and history. My king. I've talked about him a gazillion times on here, on my reels, in my broadcast channels. There's no excuse. Like, if you come on my profile any length of time, you will see proof. You will, but again, I go back to lazy. I do. I go back to people that are just lazy and they just want everybody to spoon feed them the information. And I'm not your girl. So I will do my best to show you certain things. I will do my best to break it down as best I could. I will do my best to point you in directions. But again, at the end of the day, you are responsible for you. See, that's what makes us Americans, right? In America, we are to be independent, free thinkers, use our critical thinking, and not be lazy, okay? And unfortunately, our evil government before President Trump came along made Americans zombies and lazy, okay? The school system and all of that. But I'm here. Look, I'm a teacher. I know firsthand. But I'm not going to make excuses, and I'm not going to make it easy. That's not my job. My job is to tell you the truth straight. You take it for what it is. You don't want to hear the truth. That's on you. But I'm telling you the truth. And you can go, everything that I say on my platforms can be backed up, can be researched, can be learned about. And it requires the listener to go do the work and stop your complaining, okay? Because you know what you remind me of, you complainers? You're just like the Israelites that complained. How long did they stay in the desert, guys? How long? 40 years before they got out and got to the promised land. 40 years, because all they did was complain. You're no different when you complain about this military operation. So, again, I'm not your girl, okay? If you are that kind, if you are an Israelite complaining, you can take that far away from here. All right, so there's Dee's latest rant. If you resonate with what I've said, could you do me a favor and please hit follow and share my podcast? It helps it to grow. If you're on Apple Podcasts, you can also write a review. You can give me a rating here on Spotify. Give me a rating on Apple Podcasts. I greatly appreciate that. Okay, so until next time, this is D for Liberty, and we'll talk soon. God bless you.